slope, but now we're going to start actually dealing with the equations of lines, which you dealt with before in algebra, and that's what the most important thing about slope is knowing where to find it in an equation so that you can use it. So if I look at this, at the top there's this blank for slope-intercept form. You all should all remember that that is y equals mx plus b. The y and the x are just your variables. What have we already said that m is in the past week? What does m stand for? The slope, right? And then what's the b? B is the y-intercept. So that's the only two numbers you're going to have in an equation once you get it into slope-intercept form. You have a y, and you have an x, and you have an m, which will be a number, and a b, which will be a number. So when I go down here to example 1, it gives me a graph. It says write the equation in slope-intercept form. So I'm writing an equation in y equals mx plus b. Now remember, I'm not solving an equation. All I'm doing is writing that equation for the line. So the only thing you have to figure out is your slope and your b. So the first thing you do, right here, write m equals. I'm going to figure out my slope. We've already done a lot of practice with this with a graph. How do you find the slope if you have a graph? The rise over run, right? The little bunny hops. So if I go from one point to another, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, 2. So that's 4 over 2. This is a positive line, right? So it's positive 4 over positive 2. But I have to always reduce. What is 4 divided by 2? It's just 2, right? Or 2 over 1. But now, since 2 over 1 is just 2. So this is my m. Now I have to figure out my b. All I look at is I want to know the value of my y, where this line crosses the y-axis. The y-axis is the one that goes up and down, right? So where does this line cross that? Where do they meet? They meet right here. So that would be 1, 2, not negative 4, negative 1, 2, 3, right? So my b is negative 3. Now all I have to do is put those into my formula. Or not my formula, my equation. So I have y, that stays the same. What did I already say my m is? 2, so it's y equals 2x plus b. My b is negative 3, so that would be minus 3. If you wrote plus negative 3, that's fine. You just have to write it again as 2x minus 3. But that's all you're doing. You find your m, putting it where the m is at. You find your b, putting it where the b is at. That's simple, right? Now, if I go down to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, first of all, it has a blank for standard form. We're not ever going to use this. But that's x plus y equals whatever. We're never using that because of this sentence below here. It says, because standard form does not give you the slope m, you must be able to convert it to slope-intercept form. All that means is you solve for y. Well, you can see where I wrote that. You have to solve for y. which means you just get y by itself, and then you can know your m and your b, right? So what you're going to do for 7 through 12 is you solve for y, and then you figure out your m and b after that. And it's really easy if you actually already have the equation. But right now on number 7, all I'm worried about is getting y by itself. This one's easy. I just need to move the x to the other side, right? And to move anything from one side to the other, you do the opposite. So this is a positive x, so I would subtract x, right? Which cancels out, but I have to do it to this side as well. So I have y equals, can I do 6 minus x? They don't go together, right? So that would just be, since I write the x first, that would be negative x. This is a positive 6, that's negative x plus 6.
We don't have to solve it, we just have to rewrite it.
That's, all you have to have is y equals something. Or y equals mx plus b. For this one, what would my m equal?
Did you put negative 1 from the x?
If I wrote negative 1x, it would still be the same thing, right? So my m, your m is in front of x. It's always y equals mx plus b. So my m would be negative 1. So that's my slope. My b is going to be what? 6.
That's all you have to do for those.
That's all you have to do for those. I'm going to go over one more because if you have numbers in front of your y, you have to do a little bit more work. So if I slide over to number 8, this time it's a little bit more complicated, but I do the same process, right? I still need to put it in y equals mx plus b form. So I have to get the y by itself. So the first thing I do is I need to move this 5x, right? So I subtract the 5x. That leaves me with 2y on the left. Negative 2 and negative 5x don't go together, so that's going to be negative 5x. Make sure you still write this as minus 2 because that was a negative 2. But this still isn't in slope-intercept form because there's a 2 in front of that y, right? How do I get rid of the 2? I'd have to divide because I can't subtract 2y. If I subtract 2y, that would make it 0, right? So I have to divide by 2 because 2 divided by 2 is just 1, which would just be y, right? But then I have to divide everything by 2. And it's easier if you just do, if you just do each number individually divided by 2. Negative 5 over 2, does that simplify to anything?
No.
So just leave that as negative 5 over 2. Don't write the decimal. So that's negative 5 over 2x. What's negative 2 divided by 2?
Negative.
So that's my y equals mx plus b form. So what was my m for number 8? Negative 5 over 2. So my slope would be negative 5 over 2, right? And my b is what? Negative 1. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Alright, so what you need to do for now is just finish the rest of these numbers out. This is your notes / work. So go ahead and do 2, 3, and 4, and then 9, 10, 11, and 12.